forgot how to change my clothes.
Good afternoon. I would like to welcome everyone to the Cincinnati Hamilton County Public Library meeting of the Board of Trustees. I am Nadine Allen, and I'm the president of this organization. And I'm being told that we don't have anyone from the public who would like to make remarks of any kind. Is that correct? Everybody's just observers and or a spy. We don't know what they're spying on. So, the first or item for business is the director's report. That'd be Paula Bremhiger.
Nadine.
Oh, Molly, would you please do the roll call of the trustees first, since we waited for all of them to get here on?
Yeah. Miss Allen.
Here.
Miss Lewis.
Here.
Mr. Harding.
Here.
Mr. Olson.
Here.
Miss Redden.
Here.
Thank you.
And now, the first item for business is the director's report.
Thank you, Judge Allen, and welcome everyone. This is my report, and I'm going to start with a state budget update. In February, our Ohio House of Representatives introduced HB 33, which is the state bill for fiscal year 2024-2025. They introduced that along with 52 other bills. One bill of that group that was introduced requires particular attention and explanation. That's HB 1. House Bill 1, if enacted as it was introduced, would mean sweeping changes to property taxation and income tax rates, and it would have a devastating impact on public libraries as currently written. The OLC, the Ohio Library Council, has had multiple meetings with members of House leadership and the bill's sponsor, Representative Adam Matthews from Lebanon, to convey the concerns of public libraries across the state. We know there are layers to this legislation, and each of these could have an impact on Ohio's public libraries. The first layer with the income tax changes, the proposed 2.75 flat tax, will cut state funding for libraries by more than $74 million over the biennium. That's all public libraries across the state. There are 251 of us. In order to make up the difference in the estimated loss to the public library fund, the PLF percentage would need to be adjusted to at least 2%. It's currently at 1.7. And that's because 2% of the general revenue fund, if the revenue fund is smaller, is required to make up for 1.7 of the current general revenue fund. As we talked about, it's a larger portion of a smaller bucket, and that's what we suspect the flat tax rate would do. The second layer includes multiple changes to local property tax levies that could cause public libraries and local governments to lose at least $239 million. This is because HB 1 proposes to eliminate the 10% property tax rollback on Class 1 properties, reduce the real property assessment rates from 35% to 31% on both Class 1 and 2 properties, and includes a gross domestic product deflator formula for future reductions and the property assessment percentage. So again, I know that's a lot of words. I'm just trying to make it clear, one, what's going on, and two, also, there are many layers that need further study. In this regard, the Legislative Services Commission is estimating the loss to local governments, including public libraries, to begin at $230 million in tax year 2024. In addition, we know that public libraries currently receive about $40 million from the rollback on Class 1 property. The potential impact on public library levies is at least $25 to $40 million, reduction in assessment percentage on Class 2 properties from 35 to 31%. So, to put it in some more practical terms, for our library, these changes would mean millions of dollars lost from both state funding, potentially more than $7 million over the biennium, and our local levy revenue, potentially more than $1.5 million each year. And Molly and I discussed that, and we think that's probably conservative. It could be more. It is worth noting there is a second property tax reduction factor, HB 920, that would automatically adjust a property tax owner's rate downward when a home's value goes up. So the homeowner would pay the same rate as they did before. Worth noting because the change would not actually, we think, be a change for the homeowner and what they're paying. House Bill 1 will impact all local government entities and schools that have a local property tax levy. The bill sponsor has indicated that he understands the current bill as introduced is not necessarily the end goal. Attempts to simplify the tax code are a massive undertaking and not easily achieved. That said, We have repeatedly expressed to our local state delegation our concerns about the bill and its devastating impact on public libraries as is currently written. After the House returns on April 18th, a substitute bill on HB 33, the state budget legislation, will likely be introduced. So at that time, OLC is planning on delivering additional in-person testimony before the House Finance Committee. So I know that's a lot of numbers, just trying to convey what's going on. It is the start of the budget process, but that is where we're at right now. The Ohio Library Council's Legislative Day will be held this year on April 26th. Library advocates from across the state, including myself and a small group of our administrative staff, will connect with state representatives and senators. We have been invited to be a part of the legislative showcase this year. We'll be highlighting the local e-gaming initiative on which we're working with a variety of community partners, including City Council member Liz Keating, who has championed this gaming effort. We will also highlight our FAFSA preparation, another young adult-focused service. Just want to bring everyone's attention to the year in review video. Thanks to 2022 Board President Karen Lewis for providing an introduction to our year in review video of 2022 highlights and successes for our library. The video is now available on our website, along with the Building the Next Generation Library video that reviews our FMP Facility Master Plan progress through 2022 and discusses our upcoming planned projects. A little bit about some presentations or recognition. I do continue to go out to our local community and village councils about the library's FMP progress and to talk with other influential groups, spreading the word about the library and all that we're doing to serve our community thanks to the stable, consistent funding provided by the generous voters of Hamilton County. Since the last board meeting in February, I've talked to Arlington Heights, Sailor Park, Laughlin councils. I've participated in the Regional Chambers Government Day, presented at the Gamify chapter of educators, and I was the keynote speaker at NKU's annual MPA Spring Break. We also met with Councilmember Kramerding. Additionally, I had the pleasure to spend a morning with WLWT's Richard Childs, who did nearly his entire Saturday morning, March 18th show from this brand new Madisonville branch. That was great. He even got his face painted. It was good fun. Diane Redden and I joined Marianne Christie for her High Heels in Politics podcast interview on Wednesday, April 5th. Lastly, pointed out that I was recently named one of Government Technology's top 25 dreamers, doers, and drivers for 2023. Yay! Thank you. They're sending the award, and I have to send them a picture, so hopefully it will come all in one piece in the mail. So, I also want to note here the annual staff recognition event. We are excited to announce our annual recognition celebration because all of our staff do such a good job, and we want to recognize and celebrate on Sunday, May 21st, 5:30 to 8 at the Copeland Center. Thanks to our committed and dedicated members of the staff recognition team, led by Kyla Harden, who is our administrative sponsor there, for ensuring we have this opportunity to celebrate our great staff. And Judge Allen, before going on, I do want to ask for a point of personal privilege. I talked about the Madisonville branch. We have the current manager here, Terry Barnum, who just wanted to do a quick welcome to the board to say hi. Yeah, come on up. Yeah, you can do it, Terry.
No. Well, I'm Terry, manager of the Madisonville branch. So on behalf of the Madisonville community, the staff, we just want to let you know how appreciative we are with the dedication and support that you provided the Madisonville branch. So with that being said, we welcome you back. We won't have any face painting, but I'm sure we'll have a great discussion. And I thank you guys all for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Thanks, Judge Allen.
Very good. Next report will come from Mr. Greg Olson to present the Facilities, Finance, and Audit Committee report.
Thank you, Nadine. All right. I'm just going to read from the paper. Facilities, Finance, and Audit items. Audit Committee met on April 7th, 2023 at the Reading Branch. Committee member Diane Cunningham Redden and board member Nadine Allen were in attendance. Staff members Paula Bream-Heger and Molly DeFossi were also in attendance. It's a recommendation of the committee that the board take the following action. 2024 budget. The Hamilton County Budget Commission has allowed the library to file modified budgets since fiscal year 2005, with the understanding that ongoing approval is subject to annual review. A request to submit a modified 2024 budget was submitted to the Budget Commission on March 3rd, 2023. The library is required to submit its annual budget to Hamilton County by May 31st, 2023. The proposed 2024 operating budget balances current funding expectations, current operating costs, and capital project plans. The capital budget has been constructed on the basis of need. That is, what's needed to fund top priorities for capital building and improvement projects as identified in the facilities master plan. The 2024 appropriations that are presented at the December 2023 board meeting will be based on actual anticipated revenue and operations as of that time. So I believe we have to approve the 2024 operating budget and capital budget as follows. Operating budget. The proposed general fund operating budget of $74,136,100 is approximately 3.5% greater than the original 2023 appropriations. This includes allowances for increases to salary costs for the annual merit increase and planned new staffing for the reopening of Main and the larger Forest Park location. The budget also accounts for slight increases in other categories of expenditure in support of the strategic plan of the library. So do you want me to go through the numbers?
I think you can do the available balance there at the end and just.
Okay, the available balance at the end of 2023 is $25,458,000, and in 2024 we expect the PLF to have $74,709,326, with a local tax levy of $38,672,461. Other library revenue will be $920,000. So with a total receipts of $114,301,790, with operating expenditures of $137,609,790, basically taking us to an ending balance of $2,150,000 with a contingency of the same and an available balance of $0. So the capital budget includes remaining anticipated projects identified in the FMP released in January of 2020 for projects between 2024 and 2028. Life cycle repair and maintenance, $29 million. Do you want me to read these as well?
I think you can just do
Would
there
you?
at the bottom. Yeah,
All right,
just
so
kind
the
of
total
yeah.
amount for the project is $64,916,940. Contingencies, the budget reserves two contingencies, as we spoke of a moment ago, $2,150,000 operating contingency, which is 3% in the general fund, and a $2 million capital contingency in the building and repair fund. Funding carry forward and required new funding. The general fund expects to end 2023 with approximately $25.5 million of available funding to fund the 2024 budget. The library will need intergovernmental revenue of a little more than $113 million. For budget purposes, property tax receipts for 2024 are estimated at $38,672,461, which is approximately the amount expected for 2023. The balance of the intergovernmental revenue, $74,709,326, is requested from the PLF. Miami Township lease. Approve the extension of the Miami Township lease as follows and authorize the Eva Jane Romaine Coombe Director to execute the agreement. The library and Miami Township have a long-standing lease arrangement for $1 a year for the space the library occupies. The current agreement expired March 31st of this year, and we would like to modify the current agreement via lease amendment or lease addendum number 3 as attached on Exhibit 1, which would provide for an additional 5-year period from April 1, 2023 through March 31st, 2028. The rental payment for the extended term shall remain $1 a year. The addendum number 3 also provides an option to extend for 2 additional 5-year periods, with the first option April 1st, 2028 through March 31st, 2033. The second option from April 1st, 2033 to March 31st, 2038. The rental payment for each of the option terms will also remain at $1 per year. As identified in the FMP, the library will continue to seek a larger, more permanent solution in the area. At the same price. Oh, excuse me. That's a deal.
That's not in there.
I get a harumph out of y'all.
That's not quite in the report.
Do you need a
Right.
motion?
Yeah, we definitely need a motion for that, wouldn't we, Diane? All right, the new Forest Park branch, which is really exciting. The library has been working on the design of the new branch since March of 2022. The architect SHP and the construction manager at risk, Turner Construction, have been a part of the team the entire time. During the design phase, there were 2 estimates provided by Turner. Schematic design on July 6th, 2022, $14,148,506 at $535.50 per square foot. Now, with the design documents in October of 2020, or 28th of 2022, the price rose to $14,299,042 at $547.60 per square foot. Several design elements, including the exterior courtyard and refinement of HVAC equipment, continue during the construction document phase. These items, along with market conditions, have resulted in a final GMP estimate of $15,429,218 at $617 per square foot. Library staff have surveyed our peers at other Ohio Metro libraries who've reported a current cost per square foot range of $600 to $620 per square foot. The FMP placeholder for this was estimated in 2019 at $12.3 million, and in August of 2022, a revised report project estimate of between $16 million and $18 million. So in order to move forward with the GMP from Turner, the updated project budget in total is $19.2 million. After a satisfactory review of the GMP compilation and calculation for reasonableness by an independent third party, authorized by Eva Jane Romaine Coombe, Director, to modify the branch innovation and replacement 2022 to 2027 agreement, along with necessary change orders subsequently reported for confirmation with Turner Construction via GMP amendment, subject to owner and attorney review as follows. GMP inclusive of CMR fee and CMR contingency equal to or less than $15,429,218, with a project budget of $19,200,000, which includes an owner contingency of approximately 7.5%, detailed as follows. GMP cost inclusive of fee, $15,429,218. Owner cost estimated, design fees, permits, furniture, $2,613,782. Design fees and consultants, $1,050,000. Furniture and equipment, $1,400,000. Other expenses, $163,782. Contingency, $1,157,000. Total budget, $19,200,000. The work is expected to begin around April 30th, 2023, with expected completion in summer 2024. The current Forest Park branch will remain open during construction. Keep going. Wow.
Keep
Do you need a
going.
drink of water? We do have water for you, absolutely.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah.
These numbers can get.
You're doing a great job, though.
They're hard. No.
Thanks, Molly. That's really sweet.
They are hard to do.
They are.
Can you repeat some of those numbers?
Which ones would you like to hear again? See, that's why they don't let us sit next to each other. Oh, goodness. The construction, this is the Price Hill Parklet. The construction of the hardscape and landscaping for the project is almost complete. As part of this project, and with the financial support of the Library Foundation, local artist Michael Coppage was hired to install public art into the space. In order to fully access the art and based on community input, we had added an additional sidewalk to the project. So there was, for the additional sidewalk, we have a change order to modify the Price Hill Parklet in the amount of $7,414.
Question, what makes a park a parklet?
Well,
Is it the size? Is it just like 5 people can sit under a tree?
Well,
No, but some art, beautiful art.
we're trying to distinguish it from a lawn. So previously, Price Hill had a lawn in front of it, and it just kind of served as a big bunch of grass. And we want to activate it, but we don't necessarily have enough for what we would be calling a full-on park, and we're not the Parks Department. So we're just putting in parklet sort of features down by the sidewalk. We have some seating that will support pedestrian traffic along Warsaw and some of those things. But you're not the first person to ask us
Yeah,
that.
we ask ourselves that.
Yeah.
I congratulate you on conjuring up the word parklet.
Actually, I think it was the architect who.
Yeah.
put it in. Yeah.
It's like a little pocket park.
Yes, that's
It's a
probably
pocket park?
My brother used to have a place on Celestial.
Oh, it's a
So you'd look over,
pocket park.
Yes.
and
There you go.
right in front of their building was this very small park. I don't know, maybe 200 feet wide. I mean, not enough to build on. The idea was it was made into a park, so nobody could build a house on it. And it was very steep, but a sidewalk went down and
Yeah.
there were benches, and it's a great place to sit and watch the fireworks,
Yeah.
as long as you don't
If
get
you
your
know
car
about
towed.
it.
Because the
Yeah.
entertainment was, you know, people would park and walk away, and there comes the tow truck,
Yeah.
because you can't park.
Right, well, we won't allow that at our park.
No parking at the Parklet.
But it is a good thing to note about the looking over it, because if you have been to Price Town, I think everyone here has been, it has the old entrance
Right.
that we have there that we've retained, and it looks over the parklet.
Right.
So it is also
Beautiful.
designed to give it
Yeah.
that kind of fun
Yeah.
internal looks.
And it does something in the front, instead of just like, oh, that used to be the front door, but now it's
Yeah.
not.
And there's a bunch of grass.
Ties it up.
So it was our invention to avoid saying the Price Hill lawn.
Yeah.
Got it.
You're the author, you get to call what you want. Main library project update. The structural steel is complete and concrete is poured. A scan of the stairs has been completed, and final stages of glass railing design and fabrication have begun. The work on the South Plaza has started up again, with underground utilities being installed. Demo on the remaining sidewalks will start next month. The library has been working closely with the design team on interior finishes and furniture selections. So we want to confirm the following change orders to modify the interior renovation GMP for Turner Construction. Deduct reusing existing panels of $6,400, looks like $58.
68.
$6,400 something $8.
Yeah.
The installation of a new entry.
Molly knows
Well, I like to see those
$1.
negative dollars. so
Yes.
that's
It's
good.
shocking.
Yes.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
The installation of a new entry with a vestibule off of the North Plaza is scheduled to open in mid-April 2023. Well, that's now. The north parking lot fence is complete, and the installation of the security equipment is expected to be completed by mid-April 2023.
Mr. Olson, I would also like to note, because we do receive questions about it, the book fountain, this book sculpture is now visible, and it's reinstituted, reconstructed. It's not complete or anything, but if you look, Molly came over to my office and looked out, you can see it's in the corner. So I've been trying to point that out to people who were concerned about it. It is now, the structure is being reinstalled, and they would be able to see that.
Good,
So that is going to come back, not as a fountain,
Right.
but as a sculpture.
So
Lovely.
for opening day and the parade,
Yeah.
didn't there used to be, and I wasn't there this year, but I don't know, I haven't been to the parade in years, but didn't we used to have like a book mobile that was in the parade?
Kathy's shaking her head.
Yeah, we had one this
Yeah.
year.
We had it this year
Yes,
too?
we
Okay.
did. Yeah, the truck was there and
Ah.
the staff walk.
I remember that as a kid, so I just haven't seen it and one
Yeah.
of my buddies was talking to me about it.
Nice.
That's great.
And would you like to make a motion at this time?
Well, we can
No,
keep,
we
we got
still got
more.
more to go.
If we got
Okay.
a couple
I
more to
thought Before
go.
moving to the
We're
information.
going.
So Hyde Park,
We're at Hyde Park
We're
right
at
now.
Hyde
Oh,
Park
we're
Branch
ha- oh, we're
Elevator
doing Hyde
replacement
Park.
and renovation.
Yeah.
Okay.
In October of 2022, the board approved the following project budget for the Hyde Park elevator replacement and renovation. CMR cost inclusive of fee, $3,560,000. Owner cost estimated, design, fees, permits, furniture, with contingency of $320,000 is a grand total of $4,850,000. In February, we reported during demolition several inconsistencies between the existing drawings from the 70s renovation and actual conditions that were discovered. In addition, the soil was not considered stable to support the new elevator structure. The library has been working with both Turner and Immersion to solve the issue. Turner has outlined a plan with a cost estimated not to exceed $575,000 to reinforce soil conditions to support the new construction. So I do believe we have to make a motion now, or is this?
We have the West End.
Okay, approve
Yeah.
increasing the Hyde Park, well, this is,
Yeah, we have one more.
all
Yeah.
right, so approve increasing the Hyde Park branch project budget by $500,000 to a total of $5,350,000. Once the final cost is determined, we will complete a change order to the GMP as necessary. And any unused project budget will remain with the library and used for additional projects in the future. In addition, the estimated completion date has been adjusted by 90 days from August 23rd, 2023 to November 2023. We are investigating the possibility of extending the lease at the temporary location.
Do we need any more? That's the last action.
That is the last
Yeah.
action.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
That's
you were
what I was-
correct.
Yeah.
You were
How about
correct.
that?
You were
Okay.
right.
So,
Pass this down.
So you
Yeah.
wouldn't do the motion before the vote.
Okay, I'd like to,
That's yours.
no, I thought that was for everybody.
That's just yours.
All right. Sorry about that, Karen. I'd like to make a motion to approve increasing the Hyde Park branch budget by $500,000.
The whole report, you want to.
I want to make a motion for the whole report
To accept, you want to accept the actions in the report?
and the actions and the confirmations.
Second.
All right.
Okay. Miss Allen,
Yes.
Miss Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Harding,
Yes.
Mr. Olson,
Yes.
Miss Redden.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now we get to information. There's more.
Back to me. West End.
There's 2 more pages. Sorry.
Yes, more pages. But this is all info only.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all.
My printer did
information.
not print this. That's what I'm
In February, I thought we were all sharing that page.
No, okay.
In February of 2023, the board approved a GMP inclusive of CMR fee and CMR contingency equal to or less than $1,900,000 with a project budget of $2,800,000. The actual GMP was $1,652,839. Congratulations. And the overall project budget remains the same, however, at $2.8 million. The branch closed to the public on March 10th, 2023, with a well-attended closing ceremony. The demolition of the interior has begun. We hope to reopen the branch in August of 2023. Information only. Ongoing maintenance, Pleasant Ridge and Coreyville. The Pleasant Ridge, oh, I'm sorry. It's my daughter. The Pleasant Ridge branch reopened for service on March 31st, 2023, and held a community reopening celebration on April 1st, 2023. There remain a few exterior items that will be completed by the end of April. The Coreyville branch remains closed, and the majority of the construction is on schedule to be completed by the end of April. I had a lot going on this month. The exterior windows are expected to be installed in June, however, and the branch will open later then. Ongoing maintenance, Pleasant Ridge and Coreyville.
That should
We have a
be in there.
duplication.
We just did that.
Forest Park Branch Property Exchange. The long-anticipated closing on the new library parcel in the property exchange of the city of Forest Park took place on March 21st, 2023. The second half of the exchange will take place in the summer of 2024, once construction on the new building is complete. Madisonville Branch Accessibility. The branch opened to an energetic crowd with a ribbon cutting on March 16th and community celebration on March 18th. Everyone is thrilled with the new space, excited to see the new maker equipment put to use. As previously reported, the library notified Megan Construction on December 13th of 2022 that as a result of the ongoing delay with the project completion, the library will enforce the liquidated damages clause of the agreement based on a substantial completion date of January 11th, 2023. The actual substantial completion date was March 3rd this year. The 50 days past January 11th, 2023 will result in $100,000 in charges to Megan Construction.
Excuse, and has there been any reaction to that? Do they just kind of concede that they have to
Yes.
comply?
That's what
Yeah,
would
I
say.
think it's their intent to pass it along to the
I see.
subs,
I
but,
see.
but
They haven't
yeah, we owe them money, so we have recourse to make sure we collect
I
the money.
see.
Yeah.
Good.
That makes sense. Energy retrofit, Geiler Company lawsuit. An energy retrofit number 3. On March 10th, the library and Geiler both filed motions for summary judgment. The Hamilton County Prosecuting Attorney's Office is preparing a response to Geiler's motion and hoping for a ruling on the competing motions in advance of the trial scheduled for May 9th, 2023. Deer Park Branch. The resolution of our remaining punch list items has been very slow. We continue to work with Perkins Carmack on these issues. In addition, over the last month, a few of the decorative metal tubes on the facade have fallen. Oh, goodness. From the building. Fortunately, there were no injuries or property damage. We have been working with the architect and contractor to remedy the situation. That branch is still wildly successful though, right?
Oh my gosh,
I
we
mean,
were.
The amount of folks that are attending and
Yes.
using it on a regular basis.
Kathy and I were just, Kathy Bach down there, Public Service Director, and I were just talking about this when we went out to Sims and looking at the statistics, and Deer Park is in the top 3 on usage on practically everything, and the number of people, the number of visits is just through the roof. So, as I like to say what you will about mall, but people love the parking. The parking out there is
Yes.
Yeah,
really a
it's
plus.
fantastic.
It's great, yes.
And I'm sure we have really impacted the entire economic community in that entire strip.
Oh, I'm
So,
sure.
just when the library comes, it means it's great, gravy train for everybody.
Yeah, lots of good activity out there, absolutely. So yes, kudos to them because they've been as you said, it has been wildly
Yeah.
successful. It's crazy. But we don't want anything else to fall off the
Yeah, we
building.
need-
So that, like, we just
I'm
limit
gonna go
things from
stand
falling
in
off.
We just need some more
Yeah.
duct tape.
Right.
Little MacGyver.
Duct tape.
Be fine.
Chewing gum, maybe we could.
Or chewing gum.
Between the
There you
two.
go.
Very helpful.
So extremely.
Hey, that's what we're here for.
We try.
Yeah.
All right. Stop being silly. Walnut Hills Branch accessibility. Are we ready on that? Yep.
Yep.
Groesbeck Branch condensing unit replacement. On February 2023, the board waived public bidding out of urgent necessity to replace the failing unit. The cost plus contingency on this item is $95,315 and expected to arrive in June. Okay, Kristen Payne, Capital Project.
here.
Welcome.
Live.
Capital Project Manager.
Yeah.
Kristen joined the library in late 2020, is that correct?
Mhm.
Kristen earned her Bachelor of Fine Art at Miami University and has a secondary focus in three-dimensional art. Prior to joining the library, she was a project manager for Fishbeck and worked on both the Price Hill and Walnut Hills projects. She brings over 16 years of experience in architecture, construction, and project management. While at the library, she has successfully led both the Deer Park and Walnut Hills construction and the Madisonville project from design to move-in, all while navigating various market challenges. She recently led the design of the Forest Park branch and is a valuable resource on all other projects. In addition to her project management work at the library, Kristen is participating in tomorrow's Leader program. Currently, Kristen is chair of this year's OLC Facility Conference being held in Columbus this summer. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, valued members of the board. My name is Kristen Payne, and it's my pleasure to be here today to introduce myself. I am the Capital Project Manager for the library and have been with the library since December of 2020. As some of you may already know, as Capital Project Manager, it is key to understand the importance of collaboration and communication to achieve successful project outcomes, as I work with library staff and contractors to make sure our vision for the next generation libraries are executed in the way we desire. To date, I have worked extensively on Deer Park, Walnut Hills, and most recently Madisonville. On these projects, I was able to work from beginning to end, working with our team at the library to opening the doors to the community and making sure our contractors remain productive and our neighbors were informed and happy along the way. I've also worked on Forest Park, Sims Township, and some office reorganizations at Maine. All my projects have required coordinating departments from strategy, technology and logistics to service, fiscal, and even the development office from time to time. This all while having regular check-ins with architects, engineers, contractors, and even property managers. With these projects, I've had to remain flexible but also stern as the landscape of the construction industry seems to be changing very quickly. With high inflation and longer lead times, we've had to order materials long before we usually do and keep the public informed of our progress. With Madisonville, we had to change our plans a little to get equipment in faster. At Walnut Hills, I met several times with our neighbor to help them understand our scope of work and develop a good path of communication, so she was able to call and ask me questions when she was unsure of the events in the neighborhood. Before working for the library directly in 2020, I helped to design and manage Price Hill, which was featured in the American Library's Design Showcase, and Walnut Hills, which received the Excellence in Institutional Rehabilitation Award. I did this from the dark side, also known as the design consultant or architecture side. Before starting my architecture career, I was at my university, earning my Bachelor's of Fine Arts in Architecture and a secondary focus in 3D art. With about 16 years of experience working in architecture, construction, and project management, I've worked on over $173 million worth of projects to date. Back in 2019, before the pandemic, I was lucky enough to present at the Ohio Library Council Facilities Conference with Molly on accessible spaces. This year, I'm excited to share that I'm the chair of the Facilities Conference for OLC being hosted in Columbus in July. I'm also thrilled to be participating in the year-long Tomorrow's Leader program here at the library. I will say there's something so satisfying about seeing the community come together when opening the doors to these libraries and the happiness it brings to all. When I was asked to select a button from our strategic priorities, I picked welcoming spaces. I'm devoted to making our spaces equitable, accessible, sustainable, and valuable to all the communities we serve and valuable to us. Thank you for taking time to listen to my introduction this afternoon, and I look forward to working many more years at the library with you, the board, Paula, Molly, Jeff, and the rest of the facilities team on many more projects to come.
We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Judge Allen, I have to apologize for the duplication of this, part of the report.
Oh.
Just to share with you, I found a typo and I was trying to fix the spacing error.
I don't think anybody cares. It's
Well,
okay.
I just.
Everybody makes mistakes. You usually nail it, but
I know,
everybody makes
but
mistakes.
I think
how dare you?
I know,
Unbelievable.
but that's what I get to. I just didn't want the imperfection of a spacing error, so instead I duplicated the entire thing twice. So just you know.
Yeah, I was like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And
I know.
about the buttons,
We love you.
that Kristen mentioned, Beth did bring button samples if any of the
Oh,
board
cool.
members
Yes.
want buttons that
samples?
represent our strategic.
Nice save, Molly. You're look at the shiny things.
Buttons to every meeting.
I love
I like buttons
We
idea.
gotta
That's
have
great.
buttons at every meeting
Right, that is-
from now on.
Pass buttons in.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that story, and so it's
Yeah,
very
we'll take
intriguing.
one.
I'd love to see what your yard looks
That's why we
like.
put lids on things, right?
What kind of art you have in your house.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna now turn this matter over to Ms. Redden to give the Human Resources report.
Thank you, Judge Allen. This report was compiled by Carla Harden, our Chief Human Resources Officer. Policy update. The goal for 2023 is to continue to review and update policies in an effort to ensure that they are clear, concise, and reflect the current practices of the library. We request approval of the attached policy update. The revised policy is attached as follows. So we have Exhibit A, which is the workplace relationships policy, which would replace the current employment assignment and evaluation of relatives policy, which is Exhibit B. Do you want me to read these?
No, but Kyla is here if anyone has any questions or wants any sort of summary. Maybe you should just point out how old the
Yeah, I
previous
think that's-
policy is.
Do you really want to know how old that policy is? 1984.
Needed a little
when that
kickstart,
policy
a
was
little.
created.
Yes.
Brush up.
Born
I think it's worth it to read the new policy.
Yeah, at least read,
because
I was gonna say, or at least
the new
paraphrase.
proposed
Yeah.
policy really
Yeah.
is,
So the new
much
policy
needed.
the library will not employ relatives of a current staff member, spouse, partner, parent, sibling, child, aunt, uncle, cousin, niece, nephew, grandchildren, step-parent, in-laws, or any relative living in his or her household to work in the same branch or department. The library strives to ensure that its practices do not create situations of conflict of interest, favoritism, or bias in the workplace. This also extends to practices that involve staff, volunteers, interns, co-ops, etc. All applicants for employment transfer or other actions of staff movement shall disclose any relationships outlined in this policy during the application process. No library staff member or applicant shall submit or solicit for library considerations letters of reference for or from for one another in each relationship. The library will not permit the direct supervision, evaluation, corrective action, scheduling, or serving as the person in charge at a location for a staff member if they are in a relationship outlined in this policy. Should staff enter into a relationship mentioned above, i.e. dating, in-laws, etc., while currently employed in the same branch or department, staff must immediately disclose such a relationship to Human Resources, and options for employment in the same or similar role in an alternative location will be reviewed, and a transfer will occur in the best interest of the library. This transfer will be at the discretion of Human Resources with the concurrence of the Eva Jane Remain COOM Director. Failure to immediately disclose such a relationship will result in corrective action up to and including termination, which really brings it in line with most normal companies, you must disclose.
Except education.
Except in education. Wow. I don't know that the courthouse has that policy either.
Education does not.
Well,
There's some tacit
a few
understanding.
decades behind, are we?
I know a few over there.
Well, Kyla,
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who are, yes, there are a lot of folks who are related,
Yeah.
working in.
yes.
And we have
Nearby.
42 locations, many departments within
Yes.
the library.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of
Yeah.
opportunity
Right.
that, if someone does enter into a relationship or is in relation to another individual, that we'll be able to find an alternative location.
That could be interesting if they were, temporarily involved. And then they have to be, well, we're not now. Now I'm involved with this other guy. Or something. That could be. That's going to be interesting.
And some of these locations
but
are
that's
small.
the
but
choice.
yeah.
Right, yeah.
It is?
Yes.
That's
That
a
is
choice.
true.
Yeah.
So we will work through those, but did feel like in 1984.
Time to update.
Was in need of some kind of refreshing around that policy.
So we do need a motion. If
I'll make the motion.
Second? Can we get a second?
Second.
Okay. Ms. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Harding?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
Ms. Redden?
Yes. So
So
that,
actually, is there any discussion of the motion at all?
No.
I think we already did that kind of.
I,
All right.
Okay.
Moving along.
I have information items only. So Public Service Leadership Certificate Program. As mentioned in the December 2022 board report, a pilot public service leadership certificate program has been designed in partnership with Cincinnati State to create new paths for advancement for staff who do not currently have an MLS or MLIS degree and are passionate about leading others in public service. The goal of this library-funded program is to equip staff with the knowledge and skills to be successful in public service leadership roles at the library. Applications for this program opened on March 27th and will close on Friday, April 23rd. Interest and excitement for the certificate program has been strong, and we look forward to selecting participants to begin classes at Cincinnati State this coming fall semester. I think that is the end of my report.
There's one
We
more.
have a little short one on the.
Oh, Artswave, it was hiding.
Yeah.
The library's Artswave annual community campaign ended on March 14. We are thankful to staff who contributed a total of $2,233 during this year's campaigns. So how many people have applied for the Public Leadership Certificate Program?
At this point, we have 4 people who are interested, but I expect that we will most likely
There's some
rush
time,
toward the
right?
end of, yeah.
And what's our cap, how many?
We're looking to fill about 10
10.
roles,
That's
yeah, in
nice.
that
Okay.
program.
Wonderful,
That's our
wonderful.
goal.
Okay, that is the end of my report, so back to Judge Allen.
Right, thank you. Ms.
Thank
Redden.
you.
And now I'm going to give a report on the nominating committee, and on which I'm a chair, and other members of the Board of Trustees are Diane Cunningham Redden and Gregory Olson. The nominating committee met on April 7th, 2023 at the Reading Branch. Committee member Diane Cunningham Redden and Board President Nadine L. Allen were in attendance. Staff members Paula Bremheger and Molly DeFosse were also in attendance. It is the recommendation of the committee that the board take the following action. Board President and Nominating Committee Chair Nadine Allen lead further communication with the appointing body, including a formal letter regarding the upcoming appointment. The upcoming appointment is described as follows. The Board of Trustees of our library consists of 7 members. 4 of the board members are appointed by the Hamilton County Board of Commissioners and 3 by the judges of the Hamilton County Court of Common Pleas. Board members are appointed for a term of 7 years, the term of 1 trustee expiring each year. The number of trustees, term, and manner of appointment are governed by the Ohio Revised Code. The next upcoming appointment is that of current board vice president Diane Cunningham Redden. Ms. Redden joined the board in 2018 to fill an unexpired term. Ms. Redden has served 5 years, and her term ends September 30th, 2023. Her appointment in 2018 was made by the judges of the Hamilton County Court of Common Pleas, and this is the governing body charged with appointing a trustee at the end of September 2023, and that is for information only. There's no action.
I think there's
Wait a minute, there is an
yeah.
action item here. I ask for a motion to accept the action in the report.
Motion.
Second? Thank you. Is there any discussion in the report before we move to roll call? All right,
Okay.
proceed.
Ms. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Harding?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
Ms. Redden?
Yes.
Thank you all. At this time, I'm going to turn matters over to Ms. Clemens Lewis for the operations report. She changed her name last year.
So now.
It is. Thank you. All right. The Operations Committee report. The Madisonville branch, many features of the 8,900 square foot Madisonville branch, which opened on March 16th, was designed for the focus on what we heard from the Madisonville community, including an emphasis on accessibility, areas for community gatherings, space to create, and increased parking. Attendance at the grand opening celebration on March 18th was 936 and is averaging 279 visits per day, compared to an average of 141 visitors at the former location. That's amazing, a 97.8% increase. Madisonville staff has welcomed a total of 4,197 visitors and counting since its opening.
It's probably even more, Ms. Lewis, because I put that in like at the beginning of April, so it's
Okay, so it's
probably over
more than
5,000.
That is
Oh,
amazing.
yeah, we feel it, yeah.
That's amazing.
There's an extra space in here somewhere.
Oh, stop that. Go ahead. Never live in that.
Ceremonial books for Mr. Pavan, am I saying this right?
Parikh.
Yeah.
Parikh's swearing-in ceremony. The Hamilton County Clerk of Court's office borrowed 2 rare books from our genealogy and local history department to be used for Mr. Pavan Parikh's ceremonial swearing-in as the Hamilton County Clerk of Courts. The titles, Bhagavad Gita, the song Celestial, the Sanskrit text translated into English verse by Sir Edwin Arnold, with an introduction by Sri Prakasa, illustrated with paintings by Y.G. Srimati, and the statuses of Ohio and the Northwestern Territory, adopted or enacted from 1788 to 1833, inclusive, together with the ordinance of 1787, the constitutions of Ohio and of the United States, and various public instruments and acts of Congress, illustrated by a preliminary sketch of the history of Ohio by Salmon P. Chase, were checked out and then locked in secure storage overnight and returned after the ceremony on February 24th. The Honorable Judge Allen conducted the swearing-in. Cincinnati Enquirer donates photo archives. The Cincinnati Enquirer moved its headquarters into a smaller office in February and donated their hard copy file photos to the genealogy and local history department. Library staff went to the Enquirer's former offices at 312 Elm Street to load the approximately 2 million photos, into more than 1,200 bankers' boxes. The plan to digitize the collection and upload it to our digital library, making these accessible to everyone via the website. Because the collection is so large, this will take several years, but the work has already begun.
That is phenomenal right there, that
Wow.
they gave the library 2 million photos of the history of Cincinnati.
Everything.
Everything.
History of everything.
Since
Right.
the
The
Enquirer
history of
started
everything.
writing, I don't know how long ago that was, but
Right.
Yes, yes.
Programming and lifelong learning. In March, 8,011 customers completed the 3rd annual Winter Checkout Challenge. Exciting upcoming programs and events include Tuesday, April 11th through the 25th, the annual Poetry in the Garden at the Clifton branch. Monday, April 17th, Tech Days, spotlight on digital resources at the Sharonville branch. And Saturday, April 22nd, get certified in CPR and first aid at the Loveland branch. Featured programs, an evening with Tommy Orange, SCPA Corbett Theater, April 26th. The National Endowment for the Arts Big Read Initiative, made possible through the collaboration and hard work of the library and the Library Foundation, accumulates with an exciting visit by New York Times bestselling author Tommy Orange on April 26th. The evening of conversation with Tommy Orange is also celebrated in partnership with the Greater Cincinnati Native American Coalition. Tommy Orange is a citizen of the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribe, Arapaho, thank you, tribes of Oklahoma, and the author of They're one of the New York Times top books of 2018 and a Pulitzer Prize finalist. Discover Summer kickoff on June 1st. Kids and teens will have fun reading and learning all summer with a free book and activity booklet for every participant, plus hands-on programs across the system. Families can find resources on our website, track reading progress via an app, and visit branches for prizes as kids complete learning activities. The summer activity booklet for young children will be available in both English and Spanish. Free meals and snacks will be available at eligible locations in partnership with our federally funded partner, UMC Food Ministries. So this is amazing that you can track this on an app, because when I used to do this, I had to keep up with my sheet of paper that I would always lose and could never find it and could never prove that I read these books, but I did. So the fact that it has an app now is absolutely amazing.
Ms. Lewis, we totally believe you.
Yeah,
that you read
I read the books.
I
really
feel that
did.
you needed that
I did.
validation.
I did. And being my mom was a teacher. So, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, we may set aside some special gifts for Ms. Lewis after this for summer learning, yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Redden. And now I'm going to turn that matters over to Mr. Chris Harding to present the Strategy Committee report.
Thank you.
As chair, that is.
First, we'll talk about the Shelter House pilot program. The Adult Learning Center finished a 6-week pilot program at Shelter House, centered on helping residents with life skills and job training. Each quarter, we will be offering this program to new group members and connect them with library services. After the trainings, several of the residents came into the Adult Learning Center to update their resumes and apply for employment. The 513 Bus Partnership. We are continuing our partnership with Hamilton County Commission and hosting the county's new 513 Relief Bus to connect our community members with wellness checks provided by UC Health and the Hamilton County Public Health, and connections to services provided by the Council on Aging, Talbot House, and Urban League. Along with services provided on the bus, we host Jobs and Family Services inside our library meeting rooms who are connecting community members to rent and utility assistance and summer youth employment. We have hosted the bus at our Walnut Hills branch, Deer Park branch, Price Hill branch, and have assisted more than 225 people. This is a little out of date. So the next stop is the Green Township branch. I was just out at the North Central branch that was on Monday. I've gone out twice now. Brought Commissioner Driehaus out with me, and I do want to commend Beth and her staff. I've seen David Siders out there. Helping folks get connected with services, and I'm very thankful that this partnership has happened. We've been able to connect with a lot of folks, so kudos to everybody, and thanks for the rest of the board for supporting this.
Thank you, Mr. Harding, and I understand they love the meeting rooms because it's a great connection with inside and outside, so that's great.
It works perfect, especially when it rains too.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Workforce development. In partnership with the Ohio Means Jobs, Supply Chain OKI, and the Workforce Council of Southwest Ohio, we continue to develop job and career fairs in our libraries. Our recent Find a Meaningful Career fair hosted 12 employees and fast-tracked education and certification programs provided by the Brighton Center in Cincinnati State. We connected with 40 job seekers and career transitioners at the fair at our North Central branch. We also provided presentations of our online workforce and job help resources and our small business resources to the Job Search Focus Group and the Urban League Small Business Development Center's Small Business Entrepreneur Fair. We highlighted makerspace resources that are a great value to small business owners, and we spotlighted the Small Business Reference Center, LinkedIn Learning, Reference Solutions, Universal Class, free access to the Cincinnati Business Courier, and more. Voter registration. In collaboration with the Greater Cincinnati Voter Collaborative, our library is sharing resources and important updates with our staff on voter registration and address update deadlines, the vote by mail and absentee ballot deadlines, and preparing for the May 2nd special election. And also to note, I know there's been some changes with the IDs as well, so just make sure everybody's up to date on that before they head to the polls. The public awareness campaign. The library's next public awareness campaign is scheduled for April and May. The campaign's goals are to raise awareness of our stream and download apps and online resources throughout Hamilton County, and to help new customers utilize these resources. For customers who need assistance loading the app onto their device or using them on library computers, in-person help will be offered via Tech Days events at about half of our locations, discussed in the outreach section below. For digital savvy customers, the campaign will highlight and encourage use of these pre-selected apps and online resources. The campaign will be supported through the use of postcards sent to homes of community members who are not yet library card holders, customer emails, digital advertising, radio advertising, and earned media. Strategic framework community engagement activities.
Before we move on to that, when you say we're sending postcards to homes of community members, are you talking about 820,000 adults, or not, whatever the adult number is of that? It must be different.
It's about, I think it's a couple 100,000 in
Couple
targeted
100,000.
manner over the course of it. It's not all of them, because I think we're focusing on people who don't have library cards.
People who don't have library
primarily,
cards.
but I'm looking at Beth a little bit.
So we have a system where we can distinguish, these people have library cards and these residents of Hamilton County don't, and there's a resource for that?
We're also,
That's amazing.
we can really fine tune it. We're also targeting individuals over 60 as well.
Okay.
Is that the Libby postcard that came in the mail?
It could be, there's a
No,
variety.
the postcard will go out in, I guess, the week after next. Yeah, and it's not to all residents. We're just trying to target the older folks who we think might benefit from knowing about the resources, but might be a little hesitant about independent use, like figuring it out themselves. We're gonna encourage them to come into the branches to get support.
Isn't that so cute?
We have a product, and I think Holbrook, you know, is it the Gale product that is the
Patron point.
Patron Point? We
Yep.
purchased that product a couple of, maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So that is a partnership between Beth's division and Holbrook's division to use that that software so that we can do exactly what Beth is talking about. And we just developed that. We had some other ways of doing it, but this is a much better product, I think, for allowing us to drill down to get to these
Interesting.
people. Yeah.
Will it be a one-time postcard?
Well, it will be part of this public awareness campaign, but we do anticipate doing another public awareness campaign a little bit later in this year.
Wonderful. Thank you. Continue.
Strategic framework community engagement activities. This spring, we will begin engagement efforts to gather community input on how we implement the new strategic framework, guiding community conversations about what services and resources customers most like to see in their branch provided. Specifically, the conversations will be grounded in the 5 strategic priorities: useful resources, limitless learning, reliable information, healthy culture, and welcoming spaces. The conversations will range from in-person sessions, video, and surveys both online and in the branch. The engagement will start in May and run through the end of the year. An update on state legislative activity. On February 27th, we hosted the 4th annual legislative breakfast for the Hamilton County delegation of the Ohio General Assembly. This event is intended to give state legislators the opportunity to ask about current library initiatives and to tell us about their upcoming goals and priorities. Legislators had a number of great questions about public library funding, including the state budget and the implications of House Bill 1 to library funding. State legislators in attendance were Representative Rachel Baker, Cedric Denson, Dunny Isaacson, and Jessica Miranda. Eva Jane Romaine Coom Director Paula Bremheger and Government Relations Coordinator Elaine Fay attended the Cincinnati Chamber's Regional Government Day event on March 9th. At the event, they heard from policy leaders about many local issues, including housing and growth, regional collaboration, economic development, and more. On March 23rd, Kathy Bach and Elaine Fay were with Outreach Director Kelly Dukes from U.S. Congressman Greg Landsman's regional office. After the meeting, staff took Ms. Dukes on a hard hat tour of the downtown main library and talked to her about what the space will look like once renovations are complete. And the Ohio Senate Finance Chair Matt Dolan hosted a roundtable at the Cincinnati Chamber on March 27th to discuss the state's operating budget. Public Service Director Kathy Bach and Elaine Fay were in attendance and talked to the senator about public library funding and the impacts of House Bill 1 with the current bill as written.
Mr. Harding, just very briefly, I do want to give a shout out to Katie Egan at the Chamber, who specifically reached out. I was on vacation. She reached out, and we were able to send someone, because that was a sort of select group, to have the opportunity to hear directly from the chair, Senator Dolan. So just a quick shout out for Katie.
Our final topic, increasing and updating outreach services. Outreach Services mailed out letters in March to residents who have not utilized that service or returned library items over the past 6 months. The branded letter encouraged residents to call the department with intended outcome of creating an open and direct line of communication with residents receiving delivered services. This campaign will also help us to identify residents that have also moved away from a facility or that no longer wish to receive material from Outreach Services. In April, Outreach staff will be supporting the library's public awareness campaign, staffing tech days at various branches throughout the county. Also on the technology front, we have identified 4 long-term care facilities whose senior residents would benefit from receiving the new iPads, which were purchased through the generosity of the Library Foundation. They will be delivered to locations in May, and Outreach staff will provide training and support so that residents can begin to use them to read ebooks, connect with family members, and more. And with that, that concludes my report.
That's lovely. All right, thank you for that report. And I'm going to turn matters back over to you, Mr. Greg Olson. You have to talk some more. Okay, did you get a break? Okay, for the technology report. And this report is from the information only.
Well, this report is from Holbrook Sample. So thank you, Holbrook, Chief Technology and Logistics Officer for the library. 24/7 pickup locker success. There are 2 locations with lockers where customers can pick up their holds, Clifton and Oakley branches. The Clifton branch holds lockers were installed a decade ago and have less functionality than the Oakley branch lockers, which were installed 3 years ago. Both versions of these 24/7 holds pickup lockers have been so popular that we are now considering expanding at the Oakley location and determining other locations for locker implementation.
Do you want Holbrook to talk about that little chart?
Yeah,
at
how
all?
about you do that?
I'm looking at this chart.
Yeah.
I can actually see it.
Yeah.
Not really sure
my
what I'm-
glasses.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
So
My
the-
glasses won't help me.
The 2 different colors on those bars are
black and gray.
Oakley's usage, and then Clifton's usage is the yellow. So you can see there that it really peaked during the COVID months, but that it has remained consistent throughout the time that they for the last 3 years. So we're just looking to provide that service more at the Oakley branch. Clifton is sort of limited by their physical structure, and then also maybe add some lockers to some other locations or new builds, kind of depending on how the finance is going. So
Oakley apparently is full all the time. which
they're just
is
full
what-
all the
they're just
time,
full
so
all the
they just
time. So-
these don't go too high because at a certain point there's just
Can't
they're
go any
done.
higher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Huh. You happy with it?
Yeah, they're great.
And how do you think about expanding it?
Well, we've got certain
answer?
branches.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. At the Oakley branch, we may, there's another vendor that we're looking at to provide even higher functionality with pickup lockers, but then at any new builds, we'd like to put them in Forest Park if possible, and so we'll just keep expanding as we can, because people really love them.
Have we done anything like that here or in Deer Park or Price Hill?
No, we're looking at it to see, as Holbrook said, the evolution of these things. Like if you go to Clifton,
Yeah.
they are basically P.O. boxes that are also installed in a post office. So when we first opened those, we knew Clifton was a walking community, and we knew the hours would not probably support like students who might want to walk up there and get something at 11 o'clock at night. So we put those in, and they really are very manual, so you have to, it's kind of a manual process. So then when we went to Oakley, it was this other vendor, and it's a solid product, but it's not maybe all we wanted it to be, and now our new product has come out, which is why, if we're gonna continue the effort, the new product may really be worth it, because it's much more easy for people to use and much easier for staff to use, and the integration of that with our online system for checking out, and for staff, it's more robust. So I think that's probably why we're sort of triggering it now. That new product has just kind of come forward. So we are.
And you target those boxes essentially in what communities?
Well, I think Kathy and Holbrook have been looking at that, and we might be trying to use some of our strategic investment money from the FMP, because it really is a very strategic investment. We were talking about maybe, for example, someplace like Sims. Holbrook said, well, we could move Oakley's to Sims, but then we sat there and thought, if you put anything at Sims, you need 10 times as many as anywhere else. So Sims is one that we could, but I think initially they were about walking communities. So we may go back, particularly at those communities that haven't had substantial renovation or refreshes, and say, would you like to use some of your money over the next couple of years on this product, as that strategic investment. So I don't know if we have any ideas around it yet, or if we're just kind of investigating what we might be doing.
Yeah, still investigating. Oakleys are so popular.
Yeah.
They have a wait list to get, like the customers will, wait to get into the hold locker. So we would like to really, since they're already there, kind of expand theirs,
Yeah.
and then of course reuse that system maybe at a different location.
Smaller locations.
How does it work? Walk me through it.
Well, yeah, so if you put a book on hold, like on the app or anything, or call, there's an option you can select for pickup locker. So it's like the drive-through at Maine.
Yeah.
And then, so when the book comes in, it's like there's a slip in it that says Mr. Olson, pickup locker, and then we, it's a little manual right now. A staff member goes behind the scenes and puts them all in there, and then you come in, you put in your library card number and your PIN, I think, some kind of code, and then I know I'm like looking around like,
All right,
I've done
who
this in a
knows,
while. And then it like checks it out to you.
It's kind of like when you return something at the Amazon locker system.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the
I was gonna
same
ask, is
premise.
it like the Amazon
That's what I was
locker?
It's the same
curious.
kind of premise.
Okay.
Only better.
Only
It's Holbrook's and Joe.
Okay, yeah.
So are these where they're 24-hour access?
Yeah.
So they'd be in a building that has a large foyer vestibule?
Right, but the new
Okay.
vendor, the product from the new vendor that we're looking at, who actually also provides our great, big, beautiful sorter at the distribution center, they have, they're kind of like 3-season outdoor. They can handle weather.
Outdoor.
Right.
So then you don't, you're not restricted by having a foyer.
inside.
Right.
Right, so we were
Which
originally
could be
restricted
kinda
by
scary.
that.
Yes.
Like Oakley
Yes.
has that
Yes.
nice lobby where you could kind of go in and also be not get into the rest of the branch.
So Deer Park, we could put it on the outside.
Some
On that
places
little
like that.
sidewalk, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why the
Right next to the
Clifton
metal
ones.
tubing.
Just like a
Or-
Shonerville.
Could be under the tube.
And everyone's like, I want to my place, yes. But that's why the Clifton ones are as they are and not the sort of intermediary product, because they had to be outside, so they
Yeah.
had to be like a post office box. So they don't
Okay.
do anything.
Well, that's what I was
Yes.
visualizing anyway, like the
That's,
post office.
that's
It has to
exactly
be a
what it
smaller
is.
book. You
But it
can't-
couldn't have to, it would have to be like a book this size.
Well, it's funny you would say that, because some of them, people have to have 2 lockers because they have they're getting all of their stuff in there. So all of those are complications, which is why the Linkso system, maybe we're looking into that. It may have more robust functionality and not have so many sort of complications around it.
Right.
But it's really cool, and people at Oakley have embraced it like crazy.
So you have your own locker?
Well,
No, it just-
only for your item.
They're told,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Yeah,
They were
to
on
hold your
board.
item. And I can't remember how long
So
they
it's
hold
Like
it.
yours all the time.
No,
It's
That's
just,
what I was
Your
curious.
that's what I was.
Oh, it's not like a PO box.
no.
So it's just like, it's in this locker this time and
Yes.
then,
Right,
okay.
and another
I
locker.
got you. I
Which
was
is where the
thinking more
Amazon
of-
thing is kind of like, you know how sometimes it
Yes,
says
it can
over
be
here,
wherever,
over here.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's your book's
I like
own
it.
locker, yes.
Yeah, great.
Professional activities and board service. Several staff from technology and logistics departments are contributing their talents to professional leadership activities. These include IT manager Bill Lane is serving as an Ohio Public Library Information Network OPLIN board member for a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2024. Created in 1995, OPLIN, I'm going to go with that, provides broadband internet connections and related information services to Ohio public libraries. OPLIN offers statewide support to public libraries in several areas, including security awareness and training, E-rate information and training, and co-location services, which house library servers and networking equipment. Cataloging, next is cataloging and processing manager Michael Christian Budd is a candidate for the Ohio Net Board for a 3-year term. that would expire December 31st, 2025. OhioNet is a statewide membership organization with the goal of bringing together libraries of every type and size to build stronger communities. OhioNet reports a yearly impact of more than $1.28 million in member savings on e-resources and over 3,600 training participants. Services include training and continuing education, e-resource management and discounts, and systems and data support. And finally, Chief Technology and Logistics Officer Holbrook Sample serves on the Books by the Banks Board as the treasurer with a term that renews yearly. The Books by the Banks Book Festival is held annually in downtown Cincinnati. The day-long festival, which is free and open to the public, features national, regional, and local authors and illustrators, book signings, panel discussions, and activities for the entire family to enjoy. The festival runs on the work of over 125 volunteers from libraries and other institutions. CHPL staff make up the bulk of the workers. Well, thank you.
Thank you. And now
Thank you.
I'm going to ask Ms. Reverend.
That's the end of Mr. Holbrook's report that I just got to read.
And I'm going to ask Ms. Redden if you would present the development report.
Of course,
Our
Judge
colleague.
Allen. This was prepared by Stacy Dennison, who is the Chief Development Officer for the Foundation. So this is information only. Development Office. The library was the grateful recipient of a sizable bequest from the estate of Shirley Long for the Hyde Park branch. The Library Foundation. The library and foundation celebrated #Library Giving Day with other libraries, library foundations, and library friend groups from across the nation on April 4th. A social media awareness campaign about the importance of giving and supporting the library was launched with 3 new videos featuring Foundation board members. The Spring Giving campaign will be underway in the coming weeks. This multi-channel campaign's goal is to increase the number of new donors to the Foundation and promote the Befriend a Branch giving program. Significant gifts have been received from the Sarah and James Goldman Charitable Fund, Kroger Rewards, the Beverly A. Thomas Fund of the Greater Cincinnati Foundation, Mary Beth and Tom Sunderman, David Family Giving Fund, and Ann C. Regan. Additional grant requests have been submitted and are under review. Friends of the Public Library. The Friends hosted Book and Booze, an adult fair, sounds pretty good, on March 1st at 9 Giant Brewing. The event drew a significant crowd and resulted in a fantastic evening sale. I'm sure the numbers went up as the booze. I would call that shopping under the influence, SUI. More than 23 boxes of materials were sold during the 3-hour event. Further, the social media's excitement before and after the event helped continue to grow awareness of the Friends of the Library. The Friends of the Library also had a significant
I just had a question.
presence.
What kinds of things are sold? Sold what? What are you selling? What are we selling?
Books.
Used books.
Books,
books.
videos,
And media-
albums,
media.
Oh, all that.
albums, all that stuff.
So this is
Yeah.
sort of a, this is a brand.
CDs.
This is an
This is the
offshoot
Friends.
of the
Yeah.
Friends of the
Yes,
Right.
that's right.
Friends,
Got it,
yeah.
got it, got it.
Yeah, yeah. So the Friends of the Library also had a significant presence in City Beats Best of Cincinnati 2023, including Best Instagram Account, number 2, Best Do-Gooder, number 2. A lot of number 2s, dang. Best Comic Book Store, number 2. Best Local Cause, number 3. Best Bookstore Non-Chain, number 3. Best Friend to the Environment, number 3. And Best CD Record Store Non-Chain, number 4.
Yeah.
So congratulations to the Friends for their sweeping success and the Best of Cincinnati 2023. Anderson Township Library Association, ATLA, is hosting a Donate Day on April 15th from 9 a.m. to noon at the Anderson Township Branch Library. Customers can drive through and drop off used books, Judge Allen, puzzles, games, and
Boy, have I got
media.
some books for them.
Items collected will be available for purchase June 23rd to 25th at Nagel Middle School during the ATLA's 43rd summer sale. And that is the end of my informational report.
If there's no other comments or conversation, at this time I need a motion for approval of the consent items and a voice
Make a-
vote.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent items.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'm gonna move that we adjourn. Is there a second on that?
Yes.
Okay. We are now
Adjourn.
adjourned.
I'm reading.
Get your gavel.
Get your
Gavel.
gavel,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
Boom.
Your joy there. Thank you all very much.
Great meeting.
Thank you.